Help Is on the Way for Orchestra is my first orchestral work. It is a symphony, and I would love to hear it performed this June, or at the very least, in my lifetime. I would like to discuss in this email why I have stopped for the moment emailing orchestras. Okay, some of the things we'll talk about are the overall strategy for Help Is on the Way, recent activity with some of the orchestras, the youth orchestras, the community orchestras. I have a disclaimer I will give in the middle. Then I will talk about the one thing that I think you all want to know. Okay, if you've been watching the Instagram, I've already discussed a little bit on the Instagram and the official channel. And then I will end with the way forward. Okay, so the ultimate strategy for Help Is on the Way, okay, or just rather the basic, the blanket thing, no matter what. I don't know if I've ever said on the Instagram, which is more most people are coming from, but I think on my official channel, I did talk about it early on. And the ultimate strategy is to talk and scream and blab and every blast about Help Is on the Way. Okay, not in a obnoxious way, Help Is on the Way. No, but just talk and talk and talk and excite the general public and everyone about Help Is on the Way. Okay, that is the essential thing, because imagine there's a performance finally of Help Is on the Way for Orchestra and no one wants to come, right? So just the daily strategy is to blast, blast, blast. Help Is on the Way, Help Is on the Way, Help Is on the Way. Okay, and I think that's going really, really well, and that's thanks to you. So thank you everyone who has been supporting Help Is on the Way. A lot of people have been messaging me privately or leaving comments with advice. People have been giving criticism. I appreciate that as well. It's all been super, super helpful, especially, a criticism that is well-founded, provides a resistance force and they have to react to it, okay? A lot of information about MIDI, great suggestions about MIDI, which I really want to do a video soon. So thank you so much. It has been so helpful and it gives me hope that I will be able to perform it for everyone, and we will all get to hear it together, okay? A couple successes I would like to talk about that we may not be thinking are successes. One, there are more people than ever before that know about Help Is on the Way. Do not think that's inconsequential. That is major. I'm going to guess there's at least 300 to 500 people that know about Help Is on the Way that didn't know about it a month or two ago. Okay, now will all of them come to the concert? Probably not. Do all of them are really passionate about Help Is on the Way? Probably not. But still, that is something. Okay, that is something. And we can watch the journey together. Okay, this is the journey for me. The next thing I want to talk about, yes. I've had some informal feedback from people, or it's not feedback, it's information, that now, because of the way I promote Help Is on the Way, 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 when they hear the expression, help is on the way, like an ambulance, something legitimate, something, something actually scary, they think of Help Is on the Way, the symphony. And I think that's amazing marketing. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but somehow I wasn't thinking this way, but, people hear Help Is on the Way enough times and they automatically think of the symphony, even when it has nothing to do with the symphony. Okay, so do not discount the effect this is going to have in the final, when we finally get to hear it performed. I think that's all these things that we can't measure are having an effect that, we'll see. Let's talk about the orchestras. So I would say I've suspended my search, or rather my contacting of orchestras for the moment. I think I started about a month ago or a month and a half ago. I went real intense and was showing the whole process. I was contacting youth orchestras and community orchestras. And the best way I could summarize it is I was getting light interest from some of the youth orchestras. They were definitely responding, had a short response time the next day, 2 days later. And then some of them wanted more information. I provided it and I haven't heard back. And I think I just need to wait. Okay, the people who I sent information to, they need time. I'm going to give a month before I follow up. The other orchestras that never got back, I want to wait a month. I don't want to be grabbing people all the time. I also have actions for every orchestra. I have a book of what I've done for every orchestra, who I've talked with, and it has actions. Usually the action is to contact the conductor through their personal website as the next action or call someone. So there is more work to be done for the orchestras, but I am taking a break for now, which we'll talk about in a second. And also the community orchestras. So that was the youth orchestras. The community orchestras, I had less responses, but again, it's busy time of year. People are just busy. They're just busy, okay? So it doesn't really mean anything, but I want to take a pause, okay? And those of you who are watching the channel, you may have noticed I've just started naturally like decaying a little bit. And that was partly because I started a new, had to start working a new job, but also a new solution came to me. Now, before I talk about that new solution, I want to do a quick disclaimer. So for these orchestras that I've contacted, I think the work was very important, especially if I do get Help Us on the Way performed at some point. They will probably, like, if they hear about it, they'll want to reach out, and then they're like, oh, well, I heard about Help Us on the Way. Should have programmed it. Never mind. Just a joke. But I don't think the work was wasted, and I definitely would like to go back to contacting them when it feels right. Now, funding the symphony. As we know, my burning desire is to hear it performed this June. I know that is crazy. It's unreasonable. It's crazy. I completely agree with you. You cannot convince me that is not the case. I mean, basically what I'm saying is I 100% agree with you. However, every day I wake up thinking about Help Us on the Way. I go to bed thinking about Help Us on the Way. I hope I have a dream where I get to hear the music of Help Us on the Way. I just think nonstop, Help Us on the Way, Help Us on the Way. It's an obsession. I admit it's an obsession. It's an obsession. It's an obsession. I want to hear Help Us on the Way performed. Okay, this June. Okay, which brings me to the only thing that I can think of, which is to fund the symphony myself. Now, as you can imagine, the price to fund a symphony is, it costs money, okay? And certainly there is no musician in the world, very few, who are ever going to have a salary or even enough income to fund it on their own, to cover expenses to live, put the kids through college, all the stuff, and be able to set the money aside to fund a symphony. It's not going to happen. It has 62 players. We got the conductor, orchestra manager. It's just not going to happen. Rehearsal hall, concert hall, it's just not going to happen, okay? Another thing that adds a thorn to getting it programmed or performed, but I think will turn out to be a flower. I don't know if that's the expression, but basically something that in a temporary sense seems, inconvenient, but ultimately will be proved to be very beautiful, is that I want premium wages for the musicians. I don't want to ask people to do stuff for free, to do something, can you do it? You just do a favor for me. I don't want that. I want something professional. You're paying premium wages. I am doing research in the premium wages, but the point is I want to be able to pay premium wages for the musicians. I want the musicians to be excited about the project. Okay, that I can't force people to be excited, but I want people who are actually excited about this. But I also want that they go to rehearsal, they have time, like I want a long enough break that they can socialize, so they can network. Okay, it's important to network, maybe at least 20-minute break, maybe 30-minute break. But more importantly, I want them to be able to go home to their families and be able to do something with that money. Really do something with the money. You put in the hours, rehearsals will probably be 3 hours, and then you go home and you feel energized. It's not like, oh, I slept, oh my goodness. No, I want them to feel, okay, that was a good day of work. I felt really productive. It was exciting. I met people. I liked the music. I liked the rehearsal process. Now I go to my family and I can put food on the table. Okay. So because of the price in general to fund a symphony and the high standards that we have, it is certainly going to be very, very difficult to achieve a world premiere of Help Us on the Way that is funded, self-funded, okay? It's going to be very difficult, but I don't think it's impossible. What is the way forward, given all this information? I will be 100% honest with you. I prefer to be honest, and I think people take advantage of that because they think, oh, he's a loser, he's crazy, but I prefer to be honest, is I do not know. I do not know the way forward. I know I need to do research. I need to find how to make money. Okay, I need to find how to fundraise. I have to learn a lot. I'm sure I'm going to make a lot of mistakes. I am showing everything very publicly, so I'm sure I will belly flop, and there are people that will make fun of me, like, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. But you know what? I heard Help Is on the Way in a vision, in the dream. I love the sound of Help Is on the Way. I worked 7 years to compose Help Is on the Way, 1 year to type up Help Is on the Way. And the only thing I know is I will never, ever, 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 ever stop fighting until Help Is on the Way for Orchestra is performed live. Thank you and have a good day.